Hi, I'm Mari McDonald, and I'm the president of the Board for Habitat for Humanity of Newcastle County. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you to our virtual 35th anniversary breakfast, where we'll share what Habitat work means for our communities and those that we serve. Habitat for Humanity of Newcastle County has served over 400 families and individuals. They become homeowners, received COVID-related mortgage assistance, and had critical home repairs completed to keep them warm, safe, and dry. We can't wait to share these inspiring stories with you and to celebrate the hard work and dedication of our staff, our board, and most especially our homeowners and those that we serve. Thank you for joining us today, and enjoy the breakfast.
So good morning all, and welcome to the Habitat for Humanity of Newcastle County's 35th anniversary celebration. My name is Allie Kevel, and I'm the Grants and Partnerships Coordinator here at Habitat. Thank you all again for joining us here today. It is because of supporters like you that we are able to be here today celebrating this tremendous milestone. Up next, we have a special live panel discussion featuring 3 of our Habitat homeowners. After that, we will showcase the pre-recorded video portion of the event, which will then conclude our breakfast event. I feel very honored to personally introduce our next guests. We have with us today, Gina Jimenez, who has been a Habitat homeowner for over 10 years, Tiffany Wallace, who lives in the 250th Habitat home that we've built, and Nima Bass, who currently is working through the home buyer program in order to become a Habitat homeowner. Each of these women will be sharing their stories in a panel discussion led by Anjane Cannon, our Public Ally AmeriCorps Apprentice and Engagement Coordinator. I will now turn it over to Anjane.
Once again, thank you for being here. I'm going to start with Nima. Can you describe some of the challenges that you were facing with housing?
Oh, definitely. So my largest challenge would start off with the affordable housing. So I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and I grew up in a home that was, would be considered as happy and healthy. It was very large, surrounded by family, surrounded with traditions, surrounded with love. And I always associated home with, family. My family fell on some hard times in the early 90s. We moved to Delaware, and that big house went away, as well as a lot of our traditions started to thin out. My mother and father tried their best to keep them going, but it just never was the same. I now have a child of my own, and I always wanted to get back to those traditions and have a home, but it was just a struggle to do so. We bounced from apartment to apartment. We, definitely paid entirely too much money and in rent and other things, trying to set our grounds. Our most recent apartment was probably the worst nightmare of my life. It was from the outside. It was aesthetically beautiful. It still is to this day. However, it was a very old home. So going into it, we faced issues like mold. We had rodent infestation. And, unfortunately, we had a landlord was not the best. So a lot of those expenses went on to me. So we eventually moved out of there, and we now live in another apartment, which I call a live-in storage unit, until my home is ready.
Okay, and then we're going to go to Gina. Gina, can you describe some of the challenges that you were facing with housing?
I had moved from Florida to Delaware. I had originally gone to Florida for health reasons and moved back. When I came back, I basically had a seasonal position, so no benefits, 2 girls. We drove back in a van from Florida. It was a 18-hour straight drive with a pet that we brought. Thought we had a great house that we had rented with the little money that I had been able to save while I was there. Come to find out, we moved to this house that was rodent infected, roach infested. It wasn't what the picture said at all. And I had no choice but to stay there because I was in a seasonal job. I had used all my money, basically cried every day, didn't know what I was going to do with the girls, didn't have the daycare, those kinds of things. And starting a new job, I couldn't move out. But some of the greater challenges after being able to move out of there and not getting no deposit back was basically the unstable and inadequate housing, rent affordability. My credit was shot, not because I didn't pay my bills, but I didn't pay them on time, basically living from paycheck to paycheck. Housing opportunities were limited due to the credit score and that to the inability to have a stable job for a long time. So my job history, trying to get better jobs and making more money, would allow me to maybe be at a job for a year and a half, no longer than that. The slumlords, we all wish we had landlords, but they don't come through often enough, I would say. So it's able to look for more professional and better career opportunities due to all the long hours that you have to work, and you're not able to spend time on yourself looking for new employment opportunities, attending school events with my children. So those were some of the limitations and challenges that I had all through until I met up with Habitat and was able to join Habitat, become a Habitat family member, and get housing. So now I'm a housing owner. I've had wonderful career opportunities, and both of my children have graduated from high school. They're in college, so I'm really excited about that. Thank you.
And Tiffany, can you describe some of the challenges that you face with housing?
Good morning, everybody. So, like Nima, I grew up in a nice home with my mom, my dad, and everything. Life went down to the point where me and my sister were in a 3-bedroom home. Her 2 kids and my 3 kids. We were sharing a 3-bedroom home, working at a daycare, and just life was just, we were just cramped. It was just, confined. I applied for in low-income housing. Not really understanding what it was going to be when I got there. However, there was no privacy. There was no really, like, we couldn't do anything. If my daughter or my sons had a birthday, I couldn't have a birthday party in my house because, it was limited to the guests that we could have. I could be laying in my house and the maintenance person would walk in and just yell maintenance. Was no prior calls or anything like that. Constant inspections. It was just kind of like, it was horrible. At one point, the home that I was in, the original unit I was in, was condemned for human habitation due to rodents. So I had to be moved. I was moved into another home that also had rodents. However, I guess because it wasn't that bad, I had to, I had no other choice but to stay there. Crying and complaining, and one of my daycare parents was just like, Miss Tiffany, I went through Habitat for Humanity. I think you should go. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I said, because, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to do it. She was like, no, you can do it. You don't have to live like that. Well, I did it. And I am on Hope Run. I'm the 250th homeowner. And, that was the best decision I ever could have made for myself and my children. So, now, living here and being, in my home was the best decision that I could have made for myself, for my kids, looking back on where I came from, you come from goodness, you get weary, and then you come back and, you just stand strong.
Thank you. And Nima, what does having a safe, affordable home mean to you?
Well, it means almost everything, honestly. Like, overall, I would say it's the security of having that. The affordable part is definitely a plus. When I say we've, me and my daughter, in a 5-year span, we moved 3 times. So we need that place to set our grounds, that place to bring back those traditions. My daughter is like Tiffany's son. Both of our kids just graduated from the same high school, and they're both off to college. You know, I didn't do college the traditional way. You know, I was an adult, I was a mother. You know, I didn't have, you know, that send off and then have to come back home. But she will be, my daughter will be. So I don't want it to be a place where it's not the same place every time. When she's ready to come home, I want her to come to her room in her home. I want it to be, you know, the home once, you know, I am older, and I'm pretty sure she's going to put me in a nursing home. Once I'm older and in a nursing home, it's the place that she can call home for herself and her children as well. Um, and, you know, ultimately, I definitely want to rebuild those traditions. We've been working on it over the years, of course, but it's different when you're celebrating Thanksgiving somewhere new every year. So that's what's most important to me.
Thank you. And Gina, what does having a safe, affordable home mean to you?
So having a safe, affordable home means to me emotional health and well-being, financial stability, a place to forever call home, that you don't have to worry about someone telling you you have to move, your rent's going up, now you can't afford it. Being able to invite friends over, not being embarrassed by where you live. Knowing that I'm able to pay my bills every month and then be able to save towards my financial security as I get older so that my children don't have to pick up my burden. And most importantly, being able to share the wealth of knowledge that I have learned through Habitat, both in the financial sector, and just sharing that knowledge with everyone. And honestly, when I first heard about Habitat, I'm like, oh, that's like a crock. Like, that's not true. There's so much stigma behind it that it's not really funny. And I think this is not only the best decision, but it's helped me grow in all aspects of my life, including my career and my relationship with my family, friends, and my children. So I thank Habitat so much for that. So that's what financial safe and affordable housing means to me. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tiffany, what does having a safe, affordable home mean to you?
It means that I have a home. It means that, you know, we go through life and say, you know, people can come to your house. When you say you can come to my home, it's different. You know, home, that word home is always different. I love the fact that, you know, I will be always able to afford my home. You know, like Gina said, I don't have to worry about somebody telling me that my rent's going to go up or I'm going to be evicted. My son, both of my sons are now graduated from high school, and they both left from prom from my home. So we have pictures in front of my home with balloons that no one said that I, you know, couldn't have, you know, people come over and watch my kids leave from home. When my kids come back from school, from college, because they both go to the same college, they come home, you know, they come home. So just being able to, you know that we could breathe free in my house, in my home, and not worry about, you know, if something has been did in the wall for months, or, you know, before I got there, you know, that they just patched over. The, you know, safety and just, you know, being able, like, when I tell you I love my home, I love my home. It's beautiful. It's inside and out. And I thank God. And a lot of people might say they don't thank God for COVID, but I do, because COVID gave me a chance for a whole year to sit in my home and appreciate all the hours, all the days, the cold days, the running from Kevin because he wanted to go up on the roof and roofs up. You know, Steve with the nail gun. Like, it made everything worth it for me, you know, to be in my home. So that's what safe and affordable means to me. It means that I get to respect, you know, where I live, and what you know, what my kids can come home to. Now they can see that, you know, this is home, and they will forever have a home to come to. And, you know, that's just how I feel.
Thank you so much. And Nima, what has changed in your life since working with Habitat?
Oh, wow, quite a few things. So prior to Habitat, although I had the dream of purchasing a home, I kind of lost that dream. There were so many negatives in my life that I started to steer away from what I ultimately wanted in life. Um, so mainly, being a homeowner and, pursuing things. I had no financial literacy, unfortunately. Like my parents, they probably didn't have it themselves, which is probably why they didn't teach it to me. And unfortunately, our education system doesn't teach it to us at the level that we need to know it. So I destroyed my credit before I was like 25. And it was just a hard thing to live with. So, in addition, that was part of the reason why, you know, housing was so expensive for me, because my credit was rather horrible. Um, so in finding Habitat, one of the major things was rebuilding my credit. And, financial knowledge that I just didn't imagine to come with it. So not only did I learn it for myself, but I learned it and taught it to my child, who's now 18, who now has to go into this world and, you know, not go through what I went through. Um, Having the healthy credit alone is wonderful, but then just, learning how to do things myself, I knew how to use a hammer, but other than just putting a nail in and taking a nail out, I really never used a hammer. So, building my own things, learning the smallest little trades, that is special to me, of course. Overall, just that helping me dream again, bringing my dream back into fruition and allowing me to go for it. Those are my main things.
Thank you. And Gina, what would you say has changed in your life since working with Habitat?
Well, first I want to say that I don't think I was working with Habitat. I think I inherited and became Habitat's family, so I'm grateful for that. I'm going to say definitely financial and emotional growth and opportunities. Home skills, as Nima had stated in reference to the hammer and the nail gun. I learned so much during my journey with Habitat. Actually, in a 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom when I moved in, I helped build my half bathroom downstairs. I've retiled, of course, with a professional, but I was the assistant because couldn't afford any to pay any additional people. My whole house has been retiled, the fencing and so on and so forth. So we've done a lot of projects in the house. Definitely not taking challenges as, not seeing challenges as negatives, but as opportunities to grow, and believing that everything's possible as long as you believe in yourself and you want to do it. And Habitat's not something that you work on and now you get your home and they're gone. It's your forever family. So you're like invested in it. And if you need anything during your process, well, whether it's once you get approved from your application, filling out any paperwork, any issues with your work, with your house, all you have to do is pick up your call, and I can assure you that they're always there for you. So it's been a very positive and rewarding experience for me and my family. And I think the greatest change in my life has been most definitely making me a better person. And again, seeing those challenges as opportunities, and that there's a chance for everyone. We just have to get out there and do it, because it's a lot of hard work. Habitat doesn't give you anything. It makes you work for it. And it makes you believe in yourself and in the fact that you are able to accomplish whatever it is that you want to get through in life. So again, I cannot thank Habitat and GAD enough for everything that I have now. So thank you.
Thank you. And Tiffany, what would you say has changed in your life since working with Habitat?
So since becoming a Habitat homeowner, life has been good. So not only am like, I look at, okay, I'm not only just, a Habitat homeowner. When people see me, they're like, oh, you're the lady from Habitat. Okay, no, I'm not the lady from Habitat. I went into Habitat and I saw your picture in there. I've been to the doctor's office to take my daughter to the doctor's, and the doctors walked in with a magazine and said, I think this is you in this magazine. And I'm like, how did you get that magazine? I've had people, that request me on Facebook and on social media. It's like, I came to a Habitat for Humanity orientation and you spoke, and I felt like you were speaking to me. And I tell people all the time, I'm speaking to the inner you to let you know that if I could do it, you can do it. I have always been a doubter of myself. I've always been it'll be okay and I'll get it when I get it. But the year that I applied for Habitat was my leap year. I was at the end, I was like, you know what? Before my kids go to graduate from high school, I will not be living in low income housing. We're gonna have our own house. Y'all gonna be able to, live nice and live good. Everybody else living nice, we're gonna live nice too. In the beginning, I was told no, but Bev was like, oh no, this is what you need to do. And I did exactly what she said to do. And on December 13th, I got a call stating that I got into Habitat for Humanity. And then from there, the blessings just came. I received, my home. I was started to work on my home. Then I became then I was the 250th homeowner. I was never a public speaker. But when you can speak about something that you are truly genuine about and something that you truly believe in, it comes naturally and it just flows. I thank God for the people that I went through the program with. From the top to the bottom, my neighbors, we have created a bond where, we all work and look for each other. However, during the process of this, with all that being said, I remember in June standing outside, it was hot. And I was like, you know what? My son's playing blue and gold. My mind is not really here. I came to the site and Nima was there. And she had on her jacket, she had on her shirt, and she was putting siding on my house. And I said, you putting siding on my house? And she was like, yep, I'm cutting it, I'm putting it up. She came out and she cut that siding up, put that siding. Every time I go out my backyard, I tell my kids, Miss Nima, put that up, so don't mess it up. It makes you grateful. This whole process, just everything just makes you grateful for everything. It just makes you appreciate and love your stuff even more. Love it. I love the program. I support the program 100%. Habitat has made me a better person. You understand what I'm saying? I went into the Habitat homeowners. I went back to college, and both of my kids saw my work is now paying off. And I can't thank them enough.
Thank you so much.
Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kevin Smith. I'm the CEO with Habitat for Humanity of Newcastle County. For the past 25 years, it's been my honor and privilege to serve the families that we work with and this community. Over those 25 years, we've looked and been guided by our vision of a world where everyone has a simple, decent place to live. But we're not just home builders, we're also relationship builders. So we know that all of you have been affected this past year by the COVID pandemic. And so many systems that we're all connected with have been interrupted, but especially housing. This past year, as we've seen the fractures in our housing industry, with the lack of affordable housing, with housing prices go up, the shortage of materials, and the increase in material prices. For a typical family or an individual who's making minimum wage in our community in Newcastle County, they would have to work over 100 hours a week just to afford the average 2-bedroom rental. In our community here in Wilmington, there's also other issues like blight, as you see behind me. Neighborhoods that have been neglected for decades. And even if folks own their own home in these neighborhoods, in many cases they don't have the income or the extra money to make necessary repairs or to save for emergency situations. So part of what we do here at Habitat is work with families and communities like this, many of whom have had numerous experiences of being mistreated, of experience of being mistrusted. So our work is to build relationships and to build trust with these families based on our values of commitment, sharing Christ's love, community. We reach out to these individuals in these communities to build that trust so that they can see what else is possible. By building trust, we are also able to provide necessary training and to help them make change in their lives. In many cases, financial changes. On average, the families that come to Habitat and buy a home, their credit score increases by 70 points by the time they're ready to buy a house from us. So why is that significant? So once you've increased your credit score, then you're more able to manage your money. If you need to go get another car, you're able to have payments that you can now afford and live into. So truly, having financial freedom is a huge plus for our families. In many cases, the mortgage that they've been paying with Habitat is half of what they were formerly paying in rent on the market. So we work with these families to not only provide financial education, but also home maintenance training so they can be confident and self-assured about owning their home into the future. That confidence helps them and their children live into the full potential of their future. Our homeowners also complete 225 hours of sweat equity. This includes their financial education, learning about budgeting, civic responsibility, and also home maintenance. They also come out here and learn how to swing a hammer. All of this builds confidence and empowers them and their children to achieve everything that they intend to. This past year, even during the pandemic, we've been able to continue building homes like the ones behind me. Our restores have reopened. We have been doing necessary repairs for low-income homeowners in this community and in other communities. We've been selecting new homeowners who've just learned that they're going to become homeowners into our program. We've also been doing and helping these neighborhoods become safer through initiatives like Rock the Block, where we interact with these communities, find out what they want to change, and work with them to do that. And lastly, another thing we initiated this past year was a COVID-19 relief fund for our homeowners who've been impacted by COVID directly, who maybe have lost their jobs, lost their income, to help them stay in their house long term. By doing all these things, we not only help families to survive, but to thrive. So we want to thank you for all the ways that you're helping Habitat help these families and help these communities to change. In a moment, you're going to hear 3 inspiring stories from homeowners who've gone through our program. You're also going to hear from the Phillies ambassador and former second baseman, Mickey Morandini. So thank you so much for all you do for Habitat and for the mission to provide a simple, decent place for families in this community. Thank you and God bless.
Hello, my name is Stacia, and I was invited to a Habitat for Humanity orientation 17 years ago, and that is how I became involved, and currently a Habitat homeowner. Prior to coming to Habitat for Humanity, I lived alone with my 2 sons in public housing, and we were there for about 9 years. And I was actually paying about 50% of my income towards my rent, which left me little of nothing left after pay towards bills or medical costs or any type of outing or anything with my sons. So living from paycheck to paycheck was, basically I was just surviving. I wasn't thriving. I was not enjoying the fruit of my labor as I am today. I became determined to complete the Habitat, the process of becoming a Habitat homeowner. And that came with sacrifices, and it also came with challenges. The sacrifice was working Monday through Friday, on my day job, 8 hours a day. And then, on Saturday, I would have to work the 6 to 7 hours on my home or another home, and that was called sweat equity hours, which was required to have before you go into your home. And I believe it was like 250 hours. So it was really a sacrifice to do that, to make sure that it was all done. But then the challenge was when I would lose, I lost employment at one time, and the life obstacles that were thrown at me, and being able to stay on course to make sure that my mortgage was paid. It was challenging. And it was also challenging when I would come home from working 6-7 hours on Saturday, and my neighbors would see me, coming home and I'm messy, with paint all over me or something like that. They would ridicule me. They never encouraged me, but I had to keep my mind on the fact that there was a bigger picture. I was going to walk out of this public housing, and it was going to be very, very soon. So I had to focus on that big picture. And as I stand here today, I'm proud of myself. I say that because I have this much to pay off my mortgage, and I'm excited about it. So when I see people today, family, friends, co-workers, I'm telling them about Habitat for Humanity and how great it is to be in the program and be a partner to Habitat. I tell everyone I know. Even today, 17 years later, I encourage almost everyone I know that face similar circumstances that I once did to join Habitat. Come on board and be a partner. It would be one of the best decisions that you would have ever made in your life. Thank you.
I work Monday to Friday, so I have the weekends off, right? Mm-hmm. And so then, Sunday, you go to church and stuff like that. So Saturday, a lot of times on Saturday, I had to climb up on the roof to try to find the leak. So that affects you because it's a Saturday, it's a beautiful day. You don't want to be up on the roof. My wife is from Nicaragua, but I'm from the South Bronx. And I know what it is to have a hard life and to go from apartment to apartment. I know what it is, since I was a child, to look out for the landlord is coming, to kind of like dodge the eviction kind of stuff. I've been all through all that. And having a house, owning your own house, is almost like winning the lottery over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. All the grief, all the frustration. My grandmother had this saying, you pay your rent today, you turn around tomorrow, it's due again. It means a lot of things, right, dear? Mm-hmm. It means, first of all, because sometimes in the middle of the night, that thing would start dripping and you have to get up in the middle of the night and, and then you put the bucket and then, okay, you put your bucket, but you're still not doing away with the noise. It's drip, 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 drip all night long. But anyways, it means not having to deal with that. It means peace of mind. If you know what I mean, not having to say, okay, where did I put that bucket now, or stuff like that, or man, I'm gonna have to find a way to find a hole, because it was like 3 years that I went consecutively trying to find a hole that I couldn't find on the roof. So it means being able to have more time to be with the family, with the kids, and to do things and stuff like that we enjoy doing. Well, they were very kind, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
You want to answer this one?
It's okay. You can answer. I back you up.
You back me up? Okay. Well, when we went there and we got to meet all these kind people and working at different levels, we also met some people that actually had received a home from Habitat for Humanity and all that. And it was a very good atmosphere. They had this whole presentation and then the survey or something like that it was. And these people have been very kind to us indeed. and never ever has anyone said, okay, we did this for you, now you scratch our back or something like that. They're very professional. Yes. Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
And we're very grateful
Yeah.
for all the help you did for us. We
Yeah.
honestly, thank you very much.
Greetings, my name is Diane Burbick. I am a Habitat homeowner in Middletown, Delaware. I've been in my home for 13 years. I'm a divorced mom of 3. My children's ages are 22. My daughter, she's my eldest, and I have 2 boys, 14 and 13. I'm also a home health care provider as a career, and I am a graduate with an associate's degree in applied science, and I also was a nursing student at Wesley College. I was in New York after I finished school in Delaware, and I had to come back to Delaware without a degree, but I came back with my daughter, and we were experiencing some rough times, so I stayed with a relative here in Delaware until we were able to get on our feet. So I was working and providing for my daughter, and then I spoke with a coworker who told me about Habitat because I was explaining to her about my situation. She told me about Habitat and where they were having a meeting and that I should apply. So I went to the meeting once they had it in Wilmington. When I walked in the door, I was nervous and I felt defeated because it was so many people at this meeting, and I said to myself, there's no way, no way that I could ever get a home or fill out this application. But that defeat automatically turned into determination because I wanted my daughter to grow up in a home, her own home, in a safe home. So I filled out the application, and while I was staying with a relative, I was continuing to work. But I fell on some hard times with my relative, and I ended up homeless. So I stayed with a coworker who I barely knew, but I was grateful to have that opportunity to stay at a comfortable, safe place. Within that time frame, we had dealt with so many obstacles, so many things that would make a person give up. I just remember I was happy, but the happiness turned to sorrow, defeat. I had a son, and I didn't have a home to bring him to. And I got kind of like depressed because I have 2 kids now. I'm looking in their eyes and I'm like, I have nothing to offer them. But I still kept going. Habitat worked with us. We got the hours in. And we moved into our home. No furniture, anything. We were just happy to be in the home. And by that time, I was pregnant again with my last boy. And when I brought him home from the hospital, he had his own home to come to. So that was a good feeling. The journey to get to 100 Faith Lane took 100% faith, trust. God was with us. He put good people in our lives, strangers that didn't know us, but they helped us get here. And that's why I appreciate Habitat so much. Anything is possible with faith and determination. Anything is possible. There are still good people out there willing to help you get to where your desire to be. There are people that are planting seeds, good seeds. They're out there. We just need to remember the good and not focus on the bad, but learn from life experiences and know that your situation is not who you are. And just to keep going until you achieve the goal that you want to achieve. So just keep going. God paves the way. He does. We don't have to have all the answers. We just have to have the yes and the faith. So, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today as we celebrate and support the work of Habitat for Humanity of Newcastle County. My name is Mickey Morandini, and I'm the Phillies team ambassador and former second baseman. And I know firsthand the importance of growing up in a family of stable housing. Now, my father passed away when I was really young, and my mom did an excellent job of maintaining a stable household, allowing me to go to school, and always really taking me to all my sporting events and practices. And that is why I wanted to have, as a father now, a stable environment for my kids as well. Now, over 35 years, Habitat for Humanity of Newcastle County has given stability to almost 400 families. They have become homeowners, received mortgage assistance when they needed it most, and had critical home repairs completed that keep them safe, warm, and dry. You make it all possible, which is why I'm asking you to visit habitatncc.org/give to donate now so we can keep this vital work going and serve more low-income, hardworking families in the community. As you heard from our speakers, getting a hand up from Habitat has impacted almost every aspect of their lives. So please, make a gift of any size now at habitatncc.org/give to keep us going. Thank you for joining us today, and remember that together we build homes, communities, and hope.
Before we conclude today, we want to give a big thank you to our sponsors. Our platinum sponsor, JP Morgan Chase, gold sponsors, as well as our silver sponsors. And we want to thank you all for attending and joining us today as we celebrate our 35th year of building homes, community, and hope in Newcastle County. This concludes our event for this morning, and thank you again all for joining.